Hey, ALB here. So very recently we had the 2015 Grammys. I know what you're thinking. The Grammys? More like... I didn't watch the Grammys this year. When you have Tumblr and Twitter, you don't really need to watch award shows. All of the very best and worst things will be shown to you via photo sets the next day. Also, like, if Nicki Minaj isn't on the screen the entire time, it's like, why would I even watch this? What's this all about? What's the point of this? A certain upset has been causing a kerfuffle all over the internet, which is of course Kanye West being a little scamp. In 2009, Kanye West interrupted Taylor Swift's MTV VMA acceptance speech to say, infamously, that Beyoncé should have won Best Female Video.
Thank you so much for giving me a chance to win a VMA award.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyoncé had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
So this year at the Grammys, Beck beat out Beyoncé for Best Album of the Year. And Kanye West jokingly pretended to be about to interrupt Beck's speech.
I need some help. I'm back.
But then later on, we hear from Kanye saying that he really likes and respects Beck, but that Beck needs to respect artistry and that Beyoncé should have won that award. He said to E! during an after-show interview, "I just know that the Grammys, if they want real artists to keep coming back, they need to stop playing with us. We ain't gonna play with them no more, and Beck needs to respect artistry, and he should have given his award to Beyoncé." Wow, I sounded really white reading that. Now, I don't usually talk about celebrities, but I think there's a really interesting question in here. What do we consider an artist and what do we consider a musician? Is it important to us that musicians also be performers? So these tweets were shared all over the internet and they compare Beck to Beyoncé, saying that Beck deserved the award because Beck plays 14 different types of instruments and Beyoncé needs 4 writers for one song. I mean, huge props to Beck because that's incredible. But also, I don't know that that's a very good point to make. Like, is someone's artistry based on whether or not they write the material? Is Meryl Streep no longer an amazing actress and artist because she doesn't write the movies she stars in? And similarly, isn't art a collaborative process? Think about movies, think about photographs and advertisements and books. Everything we consume as people, no one person made that. Think about how many hands touch a project before we get to see it. Does that make it less amazing? Isn't working with others and having valuable criticism part of the important process of growth? But moving on, what is it that makes a musician spectacular for us in 2015? I think that it varies from person to person. Is a musician someone who performs for us on stage? Is someone who records music for YouTube videos in their basement still a musician if they could never perform on stage due to their social anxiety? Does someone have to be able to perform their music live to be considered a musician? Do people who use all technological sounds and no actual instruments still get to be considered musicians? Does someone have to write all of their own music to be a musician? When I think about this topic a lot, someone who comes to mind is Sia. This has been a huge year for her and her new album, 1,000 Forms of Fear. She's been on like every talk show and award show, and even for me personally, this album is amazing. It's so good. It's so good. Every song is like incredible. It's amazing. Yeah, as we know, Sia has chosen not to make her physical persona part of her performances. She's either completely not on stage or is behind a curtain or is facing away from the audience. It's clear to us as visual people that we're meant to focus on her voice and whatever performance aspect she's chosen to include. Most famously, having amazing performer Maggie Ziegler dance with a wig made to resemble Sia's own hair. I've read a few different interviews about why Sia's made this choice, and a lot of them kind of contradict each other. But one thing has been consistent across the board, which is that she's just very disinterested in the celebrity aspect of being a musician, and she wants to have a very private life. And I think everyone would agree that Sia is an artist. So let's talk about Beyoncé, someone who is in the public eye in a huge way. And on top of being an amazing singer, is a performer. She sings, she dances, she acts. When you watch her perform, you feel exhausted because she's working so hard. Does she play musical instruments? Well, we don't really know because she doesn't really make that part of her performances. There are a lot of people who wouldn't consider Beyoncé an artist, even though comparatively, she does a lot more. So here's where Beck comes in. Beck, who doesn't get his hair done, Beck who doesn't dance, who doesn't choreograph amazing performances, who doesn't wear elaborate costumes. Beck who gets on stage, who plays his instruments very well, who sings his heart out. And he does a fantastic job. It's almost inarguable that Beck is an artist. But what is the difference here? How are we quantifying these things? Do we look down on a certain type of performance if it's considered pop? Do we think it's superficial? Do we think it's pandering to the lowest common denominator? Or are there other issues at play here? Some people feel like Kanye West is a huge bully for taking this moment away from Beck, and some people feel like this is just another instance where a white guy took home an award he didn't really deserve because it's best album of the year and not best who plays the most instruments the mostest of the year. The fact is, a lot of times there are racial politics at play, and we need to have a safe space to discuss it without people feeling really defensive and literally leaping out of their chairs to negate it. Because this is not a post-racism society. And who do I think should have won? I don't really care. I just think my own personal investment in celeb feuds is interesting. I watch myself care, and then I'm like, why do you care? I don't know, I just do. And I also lately have just been thinking a lot about, just even myself, what I personally think constitutes an artist or a musician. And also, I feel like Nicki Minaj is so important. I know it doesn't have to do with what I'm talking about, it's just, I really feel that way. That's all. Have a good day.